Hello and welcome back to another video where we're going to be working on hip flexor strength and a bit of core strength and a bit of all body strength. So it's going to be super duper fun. The things that we need are supplies for today, a couple blankets, a block. That's it. That's all you need. And of course, not have to have, nice to have. And if you don't have a block, just something block shaped, okay? When you're ready, starting in our centering posture, recommending Balasana Child's Pose unless that doesn't feel comfortable for you, in which case just cross-legged seated or any comfortable seated position. Taking those first few moments to get settled in. And if you're in Balasana Child's Pose, allowing the hips to melt down towards the feet, especially on the exhales, letting your body feel heavy. And then taking the next few moments to pick an intention for your practice today. There's so many benefits to yoga, just picking one of them. Maybe it has to do with strength or core strength, inner strength, or maybe it's something altogether different. Picking one benefit of yoga that you would like to cultivate and letting that resonate within you for a few moments. From here, take a few slow, deep breaths through the nose. Nice and slow and really expansive. So we're trying to get our muscles as much oxygen as possible before we get moving. And when all 3 deep breaths are complete, heading up and back into our first downward facing dog. So take all the time you need to get set up. Hands are slightly wider than shoulders width apart. And pressing up and back to that first down dog. Taking a few moments in that first one. Maybe walking it out a little bit. Maybe a few little snaps and crackles. And then send the feet forward all the way to the top of your mat, landing in a forward fold. And slowly ragdoll one vertebra at a time all the way up to standing. In Tadasana Mountain Pose, so heels and toes together, scooping the belly in. No extra scooping if you had an extra scooping of lunch at lunchtime like I did. So go gadget tummy. Here we go. Nice and slow if you just ate lunch like I did. Bring the palms together in heart center and raise them all the way up. Still scooping the belly in and even tucking the tail under a little bit so that we don't arch through the back as we raise those arms up and back. On the exhale, gliding forward, nice and smooth all the way down. Inhale for flat back. And exhale down, planting those hands, heading back to a strong plank, scooping the belly in and lowering chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain, flowing right into the next one. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths, shoulders are away from the ears. Remembering to pour some weight into the fronts of the palms or the tops of the palms, so we're not dumping into the heels of the hands or the wrists. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. Just one more to get warmed up. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Pouring weights into the roots of the fingers, weight into the roots of the fingers, especially the index fingers, and shoulders away from the ears. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. And exhale, down. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. Heading right into a conditioning exercise, our knee ups. So without further ado, let's just get her done. Flipping our timer. Right knee goes up and up and up and up. So same as we've done before. This is such a good hip flexor strengthener. So keep going. While we're here, start to really straighten through that supporting leg. As we lift the knee up, you'll notice it's a little bit harder. Breathing deep and thinking back to one of the very first classes, if not the first class of our Zero to Hero Challenge, where we thought about pelvic floor pulling up and belly scooping in as we lift the knee up and up and up. So doubling down on things. as we're getting fairly well into our second half of the Zero to Hero Challenge, 40-day challenge. Breathing deep. Once we start getting into the second half, so we started out really slow. Now we are looking to dig a little bit deeper. So this is where the actual yoga comes in, and that's no longer just fitness. We're looking to dig into our center, where we hold that willpower, that self-esteem, that part that won't let yourself down. Again, we're not pushing anything, but most of us give up a little bit sooner than we need to. Okay, so when you start to lose the integrity of an exercise, you need to slow down or modify or even take a break. But if it's just uncomfortable, try to hang on a little bit more, dig deep. And slowly, slowly release. Know yourself, check yourself. Do you need a little break? If so, just hang tight here. If you want a little bit more challenge, we'll take a vinyasa. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, and exhale, downward facing dog. And send the feet forward, inhaling for flat back, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, and exhale to a tall mountain, ready for the other side. I'll just flip this in, we'll just get her done. So left knee goes up and up, really straightening through that right leg, holding on to some furniture if you don't want to add that balance to the mix. We're working on strength now, but you could work on balance as well. Breathing deep. Remembering pelvic floor pulls up, even though your muscles are working like crazy already. It's a totally different group of muscles. So it's all good. It won't make it that much harder. Belly scooping in, pelvic floor pulls up. Keep going. Digging deep. We're already a big chunk into this class. We've only done just a couple things. So remember, this is temporary. Whenever you start to feel like, oh, it's getting too much, try to hold on just a little bit longer if it's available. Dig a little bit deeper. This class is temporary, and then we'll be all done, and then we'll be sad. So we are in the home stretch now. Knee goes up and up and up and up. Keep going. Almost done. Pelvic floor pulls up. Belly scoops in. Keep going. Last little bit here. Supporting leg is straight. Pelvic floor pulls up. Belly scoops in. Almost done. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Once again, if you need a little bit of a rest, no worries, stay here. If you want a little bit extra challenge, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down. Heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Remembering all of our checks, so shoulders away from the ears. starting to really simplify things as we get into the heart of our practice. So pouring weight specifically into the roots of the index fingers. Shoulders away from the ears, heels lowering down towards the floor. Feeling that stretch in the backs of the legs. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. Exhale to a tall mountain. From here, you might want your block handy, unless you want to make it a little bit more challenging, in which case you might not want your block. So from here, we'll start by heading into Warrior 3 for our little teeter-totter exercise. This one is the one I have like a love-hate relationship with. I love it because I'm so terrible at it. Most poses, if I don't do them well, I don't like them. But this one, it's hard. And I love it because it's hard. So left leg goes up. And we're almost trying to keep the heart up. So it's not like a true Warrior 3. We're lifting the leg up as high as it'll go and the heart up as well. From here, little bit of a teeter. So it's not big. Fingertips to the block and coming back up. So it's just little. That's 1. We'll do 10. Little teeter for 2 and back up. 3, try to get the back leg to lead. And up. Back leg goes up. That's the only reason we're tottering. That's 4. Back leg goes up for 5. Back leg goes up for 6. Back leg goes up for 7. Back leg goes up for 8. Back leg goes up for 9. Back leg goes up for 10. Coming all the way up, straight legs. And same thing again. If you want a little break, just hang tight. If you want a little extra challenge, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. Ready for the other side. So here we go. Standing on the left leg this time. Right leg goes back. And trying to keep the heart lifted. So it's almost like a bit of a bow if available. Here we go. And I've got a little thing to hold on to. I recommend that too, unless you want to add the balance in there, which is extra challenging. Awesome. Oops, I lost my block. Here we go. So back leg goes up to teeter for 1. Coming up, really trying to engage the glutes and the whole hamstrings. Keep that supporting leg straight. Back leg goes up for 2. Back leg goes up for 3. Back leg goes up. Woo, for 4. Back leg goes up for 5. Go left leg, go. Back leg goes up for 6, almost done. Back leg goes up for 7, back leg goes up for 8, back leg goes up for 9, last one, back leg goes up for 10, straight legs all the way up. See, it feels great. I love that one so much. You don't have to be good at it to like it. Here we go. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down. Heading back to plank. And lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. From here, gently lowering through hands and knees and all the way to seated, where we're going to work on our inner leg muscles. So this one is another one of my favorites. I love this whole class today because it's challenging, but in a good way. So if you want something a little cushy to sit on, we're going to be laying on our right side. So sometimes it can just be a little bit, that greater trochanter, that kind of bone that sticks out on the side, likes a cushion sometimes. Also the elbow. Maybe you're just getting wimpy, but that's okay. We're working really hard in all of our exercises. So if you want to be comfortable as possible, it's totally okay. So laying down like you're laying at the beach. And for the, oops, I've got such a tiny little space here today. So right leg is extending, left leg over top. Now, actually I'm going to put my left leg behind so you can see what I'm doing. Flipping the timer, so I'm my right elbow and my right leg is straight. I'm lifting my right leg up, 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 and just continually lifting up. So I'm using the whole inseam of my leg. Now, for stability, same thing, but left leg over top. And we keep going. And it's just a couple inches. Leg goes up and up and up. If this is too challenging sitting upright, you can lay all the way onto that right arm. Just lay all the way down. It doesn't really affect anything. It's just sort of doubling up as a bit of an arm strengthener to prop yourself up on that right arm. But we're still focusing just on the inseam of that right leg. And keep going. This is another one I really like. And I think I talked about this last time we did this one, but this one helps the last one we did. Because when you're doing Warrior 3 and you're doing that teeter-totter, sometimes the part that's challenging for balance is because the outside of our leg is usually stronger than the inside of our leg, so it's hard to keep that leg directly behind you in Warrior 3. One side wants to sort of pull the leg out of alignment, so this one will help. And keep going. Almost done. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. And switching sides. So we flip onto the left leg and left arm. Left leg extends, right leg over top. Getting your cushions all sorted out. Here we go. So left leg goes up and up and up. Same thing. It's not uncommon for one side to cooperate a little better than the other for these types of exercises. So if that's the case, don't worry about it. It'll even out over time. And keep going. So it's not very big movements, just little, like 1 or 2 inches, the leg goes up and down. Almost done. And release. From here, either just hang tight for a moment, or for extra challenge, we will Vinyasa. Back through plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths, shoulders away from the ears, pouring weight into the roots of the index fingers. And lowering through hands and knees. For the next one, we've been working on Navasana boat pose, Paripurna Navasana, full boat pose. So for this one, just a little bit more challenging than the last couple times we've done this. But again, if you're like, no, Carla, I ain't doing it, that's fine, totally fine. Today's exercise, I'll flip the timer. What we'll do is we'll head into boat pose, hold for 5, release, and repeat until the timer runs out. But if you want to skip some, totally fine. We'll go a little bit slower too, maybe taking a little more than 5 counts in the in-betweens, okay? All good. We're not at day 40 yet. No need to get ahead of ourselves. Ready? Remembering the modifications for boat pose. Here we go. So for boat pose, the knees lift up first. Even before the feet come off the floor, you can hold behind the femurs. Lifting up tall is the most important thing. As soon as our boat starts to capsize, we're no longer in boat pose. We need to keep that heart lifted. Arms along the sides and extending. Maybe they extend all the way, maybe not. For 1, breathing deep. 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's it. That's all we do. We release, hang out for a second or 2, and then we'll repeat. And our timers are going. But it's already a good chunk of the way there, so we're only doing this a few times. Lifting up tall, here we go, extending. As much as you want to for 1. Belly still scoops in for 2, 3, 4, 5. And we release. We hang out for a second. Couple slow, deep breaths. Just relaxing fully and completely. See, it's not so hard because you can relax completely between each one. Okay, and the timer's still going. We only have like 1 or 2 left. Probably 1. Ready? Belly scoops in and go. For 1. Lifting up tall for 2. 3. 4. And 5. Release. That's it. Our timer is pretty much done. It's got 2 seconds left. So either just wait here, or that's amazing. That's 2 minutes that took for 3 boat poses only. Back through plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. From here, something a little different, so lowering all the way to seated. Finding your block. If you don't have one, you don't need a block for this one. But I'll show you what we're doing first. So before you get started, just sort of watch what I'm doing. We're laying all the way onto our backs and then lifting up and placing the hips on the block. And I've got my hands just kind of wrapped around the block. From here, we'll lift. It's a little bit of a trial and error to get the hips exactly on the block so that you could relax. Before I had mine like here and I was going to fall off. So we want to make sure that the block is completely supporting you. Then we extend the legs and we're doing scissor kicks a little bit, but nice and slow. Okay, so I'm just demoing first. Something like this. We'll go quite slow. It's for the core and it's amazing. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let's get all together set up now. So laying onto your backs, grab your block, and if you don't have one, it's okay. You can do it flat on your back as well. And when you're ready, so take a couple seconds to make sure that the block is right below the hips so that if you do lift the feet off the floor, you're being completely supported and not falling off of it. I like to hold on to my block with my hands. And then on my timer, we'll begin. So let's extend the legs up high to the sky. And we will slowly lower the left leg down until it's parallel to the floor. And at the same time, the right leg's kind of staying there, but if available, draw it closer to you. So I care more about the core, belly scoops and pelvic floor pulls up. And we want to use our hip flexor too. So draw that right leg closer to the back wall for you, like closer to your nose. And then slowly, slowly, other side. So we're scissoring slowly, slowly, slowly. The right leg goes now parallel to the floor as the left leg reaches towards your nose as the belly scoops in and presses down towards the block. And you just keep going, kind of at your own pace. You can follow me if you want to, or just go nice and slow. And I've got our 2-minute timer. We're already a big chunk through it already. So going nice and slow, slow, slow. Each time you're in a big scissor, pull the belly and pelvic floor pulls up and the leg reaches towards your nose. Slowly, slowly switching sides. Keep going at your own pace. Equal, whatchamacalls, like each equal, there's words I'm supposed to be using. Time on each side is what I'm trying to say. Even though it's tempting to like left leg, just go a little bit quicker. That's what I'm trying to say. If anything, the leg that feels like it's harder, if anything, a little bit longer on that side. We're already almost done. Pelvic floor pulling up, belly scooping in. So this is very similar to that very first glutes class that we did, glutes and core. Except it was maybe a bit easier because both feet were on the floor, not doing scissors. That's a little bit more advanced. And again, you can always go back to that if you're like, my core is not ready for this, Carla. No problem. Just head back to an easier variation. Finishing up your round, whatever that is. Maybe it's your left side, maybe it's your right. When you're done, releasing all the way down. Give yourself a second. So you get to totally relax between exercises, which is nice. The next one is really, really similar. So we did scissors. Now the next one, almost easier. What we'll do is, and this is 2 minutes each leg. Left leg stays on the floor. I'm flipping the timer. Right leg goes up. And you're just doing little pulses, up and up and up. So going towards your nose, towards your nose, towards your nose. And for extra challenge, extend the bottom leg down onto the floor. Keep going. It's kind of like our knee ups, but we have gravity assisting us. So it's kind of helpful. Belly scooping in. Pelvic floor pulling up. Double checking, pelvic floor is pulling up, belly scooping in. Trying to get that leg as straight as possible. So we're using the quads and the hip flexors. Remember to breathe. I totally forgot to breathe just then. And especially on the exhales, press down. Tummy goes down towards the block. You might notice your back aching as well. That's your back getting stronger because your core is all connected. So that's pretty cool as well. Almost done this side. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Take a second between sides, completely relaxing. It's nice to do that a little bit more as the classes get a little bit harder. I like to add a little bit more rest so that it stays balanced. So yes, we're getting from 0 to hero, but we also are balancing that with just as much rest. Other side. Here we go. Left leg extends and we pulse. And if you want that extra challenge, extend the right leg down. So once again, double checking, belly scooping in, pelvic floor pulling up. Leg is as straight as possible, really straightening through that leg, maybe even pointing toes. I can really feel my core on this side. Once again, double checking, pelvic floor pulls up, belly scoops in, leg is super, super straight as it reaches towards you, towards you, towards you. Keep going. Rest if you need to, of course, but try to dig a little bit deeper in the home stretch. And if it's just too challenging with that leg straight, bending, supporting leg once again. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Give yourself a little rest. And then taking your time, we'll release the block. And just let the hips melt to the floor with the knees bent, feet on the floor for a second. Let the belly soften and relax completely, completely. Maybe even let the knees tip in towards each other, step the feet apart. Relaxing, relaxing. If you're looking for a little bit more gentle way to come up to seated from here, take your time, roll over to your right side and come on up to seated. Take all the time you need, just like you were coming out of Shavasana. If you want a bit of extra challenge and you want a Vinyasa, we'll do a couple little rocks and rolls first. So rocking almost all the way up and back. Almost all the way up and back. Next time all the way up and then heading back to plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up and exhaling, downward facing dog. From here, we get to stretch things out a little bit. Okay, so we'll head into a low lunge pose. Right foot steps forward, back knee lowers down to your mat or maybe a blanket. And come on up for Vinyasa. So we were just strengthening this whole front side of our left leg. Now we stretch. And I'll even set a little timer. So nice and gentle. I like big setup, blanket, block. It's nice. Couple deep breaths. And you might notice, I noticed for my legs, they're like, they're kind of clenching. So trying to let them relax. So let your body know we're in the cool down section of our class today. And it might sound a little cheesy, but I like to thank my body. I'm like, thanks for, not falling apart today. I really appreciate that and all the hard work that you're doing to not make me fall down. It's great. Much obliged, and thank you. And then at that point, my muscles are like, you're welcome, Carla. Okay, they don't actually have a discussion, but I do like to give my body thanks just for all it does. You might notice the muscles are relaxing a little bit more over time. So maybe lifting up a little taller, maybe allowing the hips to melt a little bit more. And release. Switching sides. Take all the time you need. I'm going to switch my blanket behind my back knee. And now left foot goes forward. And come on up. And same thing on the second side. The muscles are like, no. But they'll cooperate in just a second. Oops, timer. Here we go. Softening and melting. Couple slow, deep breaths. Softening, especially on the exhale. So you can melt a little bit more. Our last few moments here. Slowly, slowly release. Our next pose we'll prepare for is gecko. So if that's not available to you, then we'll lay on one side, bend one leg. So we're aiming for a quad stretch, okay? Here we go. So right foot steps forward in a lunge. Back knee is lowering down onto your mat or your blanket. Popping those back toes off the floor. Finding those toes. Feeling a nice stretch. Slowly, slowly release. Taking your time to switch sides. Left foot steps forward, back knee lowers down, and finding those toes. Slowly, slowly release. Taking your time to come out. If you need a little bit of a rest, hang tight here. If you want a little extra challenge, another vinyasa, heading back through plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, preparing for Anahatasana heart chakra pose. Hands move forward for the shoulders, lowering the heart towards your mat. Couple deep breaths. And slowly come on up. From here, lowering all the way to seated and all the way back, preparing for Urdhva Dhanurasana. If that's in your practice, you could head into bridge pose instead if you're just not quite there yet. And either way, we'll lay all the way onto our backs. And remember, bridge pose is an option, so go ahead and head into that if that's your choice today. If you're going to head into Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow pose, the feet are maybe slightly wider than hips width apart if you are looking for a little bit more stability. And the hands are beneath the shoulders, not the neck. So sometimes I like to even feel the pinky fingers on the edge of my mat just to know that I'm not crowding my neck. And I've got a nice wide stance for healthy shoulder alignment. When you're ready, pressing up, hips go up, up, up. Maybe Pausing on the top of your head for a few moments. I've got a top knot on the top of my head. Hanging up in Urdhva Dhanurasana for a few moments. And slowly, slowly, slowly release. When you feel ready, hug the knees in, rocking side to side. And then preparing for twisted roots. If that's in your practice, you could always do a two-legged twist to make it a little more mild, or even a one-legged. We'll lay all the way back. Right leg crosses all the way over left. Hips shift to the right as the legs move to the left. Both shoulders firmly on the floor. And scoop the belly in, pressing the low back into the floor. Unraveling and winding. And then hug those knees in between sides. Gently rocking side to side. And raveling up on that second side. Left crossing all the way over right. Hips shift to the left as the knees move over to the right. Both shoulders on the floor. And scoop the belly in. Press the low back into the floor. Unravel and wind. Hug both knees into your chest and gently rock from side to side. I'm preparing for Ananda Balasana, happy baby, clasping onto the outer edges of the feet. And drawing the knees down towards the floor for 1. Trying to keep the spine neutral, so tailbone on the floor for 2. Drawing the knees downward for 3. Soles of the feet still facing the ceiling for 4. And 5. Gently release. And hug the knees in one last time, rocking side to side. And preparing for final resting pose, Shavasana. So finding your teddies and blankies, whatever you need to feel cozy. Getting all set up, laying all the way back. And as always, if your back needs a little extra support today, feel free to keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extending the legs, arms along your sides, palms facing up, and closing the eyes. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders, and all the way down the arms. Softening through the face, softening around the eyes, and even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. And starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. Then reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. And bending your knees in one at a time. And gently roll over to the right side, pausing there for just a moment as you come back. And slowly press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position. And when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today and taking care of you. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.